Hello everyone, I'm JDude907 and let's talk again about comics meeting politics. Ooh. In today's video we will be talking about a group called the Council of Conservative Citizens. Now, when I first started on YouTube, I made a lot of political videos talking about my extremely liberal views, but I took them down after a while because I wanted this channel to be more focused on comics. So, if you're a newer viewer and you are very conservative, then I'm sorry, but keep in mind that I'm not attacking these guys just because they're conservative. I'm going after these guys because of what they're saying about Marvel Comics. See, this all started when they released an article called Captain America Fights Tea Party Activists in New Issue. Admittedly, I haven't read the newest issue of Captain America yet, so let's have these guys explain it to us. Now, the first thing I noticed about this was that the article was actually copied and pasted from a website called redstate.com. The second thing I noticed was that the article is only 2 paragraphs long. The first paragraph talks entirely about how liberals have mistreated the Tea Party by calling them things like teabaggers, and really, I think it's your fault for picking the name Tea Party in the first place. I mean, anyone with an agenda against you is going to come up with a joke teabagger. It's just the most obvious thing to do. And how liberals also call the Tea Party racist. Make a note of that. The second paragraph talks about how the newest threat against the Tea Party is Captain America. Yes, the same Captain America who fought Nazis in the uber-villainous Red Skull. Actually, no, that guy isn't Captain America anymore. The current Captain America is Cap's former sidekick, Bucky. Of course, Bucky also fought in World War II against Nazis in the Red Skull, but I'm still calling foul. And then it says that Captain America has stopped investigating Islamic terrorists because the real threat to our country is those racist Tea Partiers. And that's it. That's where the article ends. It doesn't actually say what he said or what the context was. It just says Captain America doesn't like the Tea Party. That's it. Naturally, I was confused by this, so I went to that redstate.com place this article was copied from, and you know what? They didn't copy the full article, just the first 2 paragraphs, which don't explain shit. What the fuck? Now, the Red State article actually manages to give some links to images from the comic, showing the scene that they were getting so outraged about. And you know what happens in that issue? Captain America, by which I mean Bucky, and the Falcon, a black liberal superhero, are trying to get into a building but see it's surrounded by Tea Party protesters, and the Falcon calls it an anti-tax thing. Yes! It is an anti-tax thing! What the hell else would you call it? And then, while Captain America continues to not say shit, the Falcon does say one other thing, which I'll admit is slightly more offensive, but not really that much. He says that he's not sure he'll be able to sneak through the crowd because he doesn't see a black man from Harlem fitting in with a bunch of angry white folks. I can at least see why that would tie into the whole thing with the liberals thinking the Tea Party is racist, which I'll talk about more later. But keep in mind, this is a fictional black liberal character, and he's saying exactly what a black liberal person would probably say. But the article goes on to explain how this leftist propaganda will misinform all the adults reading it and brainwash all of the children reading it. Yeah, but somehow I don't see this one comic changing anyone's minds. If you think that the Falcon's statement makes sense, then you think it makes sense. If you think he's accusing the Tea Party of being racist and are offended by that, then you'll bitch about it on the internet, like you guys are doing. And if you don't have an opinion either way about the Tea Party, well, then you probably either don't know or don't care all that much about it, so you'll just let this fly over your head and completely forget about it. And as for impressionable young children, they pretty much don't read comics anymore. But while part of me can kind of see why these people at Red State are offended by this issue, where it really gets crazy is back at Council of Conservative Citizens a week later when they started petitioning against Joe Quesada. And believe me, calling Joe Quesada a fucking idiot is something I strongly support. They accuse him of defending the issue in a new article that's only 2 sentences long. And the first sentence is just describing the first article. How do you do that? In the sentence that actually talks about something new, we see that Marvel editor-in-chief Joe Quested said he analogizes for depicting a Tea Party activist with a sexually explicit sign, but says he stands by the rest of the comic. Okay, first of all, who the fuck is this Quested guy, and what the fuck do his analogies have to do with this? Second, that other article and your abridged version didn't even mention this guy with this sign, so was that the only part you were complaining about? Or was that the only part he apologized for? And third, if he apologized for everything that was offensive, but said the rest of the issue that didn't mention Tea Partiers at all was fine, then how is he defending it? You're getting pissed off at the guy for saying that your opinions are completely valid. But where it gets really crazy is that this same day, these guys posted an article saying that you need to boycott the new Thor movie because one of the gods in the trailer is black. God damn. In another article, which is only 4 paragraphs and 8 sentences, they complain about how Hollywood is attacking Europe by rewriting their history and mythology and folklore with a left-wing multicultural slant. First they complain about how The Hobbit, which is based on Northern European mythology, is going to have non-whites in the cast. I'm serious, they actually use the word non-whites. And saying that Tolkien's works were based on European mythology is kinda stretching it. I mean, sure, there's the superficial stuff like, oh, it has swords and castles and dragons, but really it had its own mythology, all of which was fictional. I kind of find it hard to believe that there wasn't some really hot corner of Middle-earth where everyone was really tan. But they continue to complain that Marvel, which is apparently already known to push left-wing ideology in their movies, has released the trailer for Thor, which will rewrite German mythology with a multicultural slant by turning the god Heimdall into a black man and casting a Chinese character. Well, immediately assuming that an Asian person is from China, I can definitely see why you guys aren't racist. Not only is the actor who plays him Japanese, but the character isn't even part of Norse mythology. He was just made up for the comics, and is usually drawn as an Asian. As for them turning Heimdall black, yes, I will admit, they are changing mythology. That being said, if your only complaint was the fact that they're changing mythology, then why don't we have a problem with Thor wearing this thing? And I love how at the end they ask, can you imagine the outrage if the same multicultural makeover was applied to other races? Yeah, I can't think of any other movies recently that did that. But apparently one article complaining about it wasn't enough, so they had to post another one just 2 days later saying basically the same thing, only rephrased. But what's different this time is that they now have a link to an entire fucking website devoted just to the fact that they're boycotting Thor because it has a black god in it. This is just unbelievable. And they have even more awesome articles on this website. First, they have some quotes from a British magazine talking about how bizarre it is that they're making Heimdall black, and I can accept that. But then they have a nice long rant about the Black Panther and how his comics are extremely pro-black and anti-white. Yeah, of course he's pro-black. He was the first black superhero. And somehow, I don't get the vibe that Stan Lee is against white people. And I love how they talk about how the Black Panther's primary enemies are the quote-unquote racist South African government and the Ku Klux Klan. Do you know anything about the South African government? At all? Yes, they were fucking racist! And the Ku Klux fucking Klan? So, fighting the KKK is a bad thing. But then they throw us a curveball by quoting that same British magazine again, this time with an article about how the Thor movie is ripping off the Masters of the Universe. Are you shitting me? Well, you know what, guys? Devoting an entire website to your hatred for one company just because they changed one white person to a black person, that's childish and racist. If you just wanted someone to make a sarcastic joke about how much the movie's gonna suck, you could have quoted me. I've been saying that for months. But that doesn't have anything to do with the entire argument you built this website on at all! But then the last article is just fucking unbelievable. They're talking about how other entertainment sites are getting upset over them and being so childish in calling them racist. Well, you know what, guys? Devoting an entire website to your hatred for one company just because they changed one white person to a black person, that's childish and racist. I'm JDude907, and I'm too pissed off to make a joke right now.